time, there will be no conflicts even with the Super Bowl, on the first Sunday of the month at the Capon Neighborhood Center, which many of you who used to come years ago know where that is. And we met there for many, many years, but I want to introduce her speech, or she's going to be speaking. She's been a vegan for years, and we did an outreach with her in Honolulu, and Gisela was there, and let's see, who else was there? Debbie? Benjamin. Right? And then we also was Benjamin. And so we had 5 people there. We passed out a bunch of literature. And Vito, maybe, would you mind getting the literature she just plumped down on the table there? Because she just came in and left. She had an emergency with her brother who just flew in. And so that's why she's not here.
Talk about this?
Yes. And so this is a good time. So she's our, yeah, you can pass it out if you want. She's our outreach coordinator as well, and that's probably why she's not going to be able to do this full time. Because the coordinator position is a position that shouldn't really be doing anything else. And I found that out after a few months of burning myself out. And I got many people to volunteer to do what I was doing, because I used to do 12 things and now I'm doing 3 or 4. So anyway, she is our outreach coordinator, and she's setting up tables at art night every other weekend in Honolulu. So if you want to volunteer and you want to pass out literature, this is some of the literature she's gotten in. She's got hundreds of pieces of different literature on animal rights, on health, on the environment, from different organizations. And she's very good at outreach. She loves doing it. And she's also doing a table twice a month at KCC. So she's got permission at the college, and that's a very good place to engage students and get them interested in the Vegetarian Society. And then she's going to do art night once a month in Kapaa. There's plenty of opportunity if any of you want to join the outreach campaigns. I'm going to continue as long as I'm here, joining her and helping, spread the word. And it's exciting, that we're gaining some momentum with the outreach, because that's how it's going to grow. And so she's excited, and I wish she was here. I could introduce her, but anyway, you'll meet her next month, and hopefully Irene will be there too. So it's going to continue on, which I kind of figured it would, especially since we got Robert. So everybody say hi to Robert Zlowski. He is our videographer, and he was working with the Surfrider Foundation, and he just felt like it was time for volunteer for something else. And he called me up about 6 months ago, and he wanted to volunteer to video, edit, and put all of our speakers on YouTube and on the public access TV station. So there's a lot of people that are finding out about the Vegetarian Society through public access TV every month, because he films it, edits it, and then he puts it on. And we also have our own YouTube channel. I don't know the exact name of it, but if you just Google Kauai Vegetarian Society, you'll find it. And it's there, right? There's another one for Oahu, and that one has hundreds of videos on it for the last 20 years, which is a lot of good information. We have just gotten 6 videos, and we have really good speakers that we've filmed, including, if you missed John Pierre on the 18th, how many people could sit and listen to somebody for almost 2 hours? And he did not lose anybody's interest, and he did not use any props, PowerPoint. It was all just coming out of his mind. So he was getting us, to learn about exercise. I recommend you watching that video if you didn't get to come. There's one, and actually I've had people call me up afterwards and said this is the best video, or this is the best speaker we've ever had in Kauai. Now that's saying something. That's 12 years of speakers, and they said this is the best speaker we've ever had. And people were really glad they came. So we were really blessed that John Pierre could actually make his stop here in Kauai. He wasn't even scheduled, and we just fit him in. We got him in the library. So Robert filmed it, and it's 1 hour and 45 minutes, I think. And that's probably the longest message you'll ever hear from the Vegetarian Society. He only spoke 1 hour in Oahu, so the Oahu folks and all the board wanted to watch it, because they said, wow, we didn't even know he could speak that long. And he said I could speak for 3 hours, but it was getting 9:30, 10 o'clock, and so he wound it down. So other announcements, I got to mention again about Cynthia, about her talk. Just that there's some flyers over there that you can pick up. We will be sending out an email of the same flyer. If you're not on our email list and you live here, please give us your email so we can put you on the email list. and you'll get regular announcements of the meetings. So her presentation is called A Plant-Based Diet versus a Plant-Powered Life. Is there a difference? Why does it matter? And basically, I'll just give you a brief description of it. Join me in a discussion about rediscovering the why you should choose to live a compassionate lifestyle. By the way, John Pierre, that was one of his major themes, which was compassion, and he wore a compassion t-shirt. And he wears it every time he speaks. I've never seen him not wear it. Is it time for you to create new motives for plant-based eating? We will discuss the far-reaching benefits of expanding your animal-free diet to a cruelty-free way of life. A lifestyle is much larger than our diet. Whether you are a vegan or someone considering how to take the next step towards plant-based living, you will benefit from such topics as going deeper than just great health, how to be heard without speaking, respecting the stages of change, adding ahimsa to aloha, which I don't know what that is. Everyone is an educator. Now, Cynthia is actually quite young, but she's already, made a lot. She's become, she's only 29 years old, but she's already a certified personal trainer at Kauai Fitness, and she's a yoga instructor, and she has 9 years of experience in the vegan and fitness industry. She attended California University of the Pacific, majoring in exercise science. One of her greatest passions is supporting others to make transformations in their lives through exercise and nutrient-dense plant-based eating. She moved here to Kauai from actually St. Pete's, Florida, where she worked with a nonprofit called Compassion Kind. Compassion Kind to rescue and relocate animals and raise funds for international animal rights education programs. She has volunteered for organizations such as Vegan Outreach, Anonymous for the Voiceless, and solutionary events, educating the public through various types of animal rights activism. She currently coordinates the outreach events for the Vegetarian Society here in Kauai, and she gets support from Vegan Outreach and PETA, which are organizations where this literature comes from. And we have other literature on the table over there, which you're welcome to check out. We also have a membership program that gives you discounts, and that's not changing at all just because I'm moving on. And if you haven't become a member yet, it's $25 a year, and you get anywhere from 5 to 10, 15% at various restaurants and health food stores and other businesses. If you just look on our website, vsh.org, and look under the dining guide in Kauai, you'll see all the discounts for Kauai. And I know many of you have heard this before, but there's always new people, and there's still people that haven't joined yet. And this would be a great time to join the Vegetarian Society as we get ready for next year. Your membership is, it can be as long as 5 years or even lifetime, and there's different amounts that you can pay for the membership, and you get discounts, of course, the longer you join. But this is how we're supported. We do not have grants and all these things, and we have one employee, and she's our treasurer, and basically the main way we're supported is people getting memberships. The membership's $25 a year for adults, and it's like $15 for students. So it's a very good deal. So I encourage you, there's flyers over there if you're not a member yet. We are also the largest vegetarian society in the United States. And I would encourage you to get the vegetarian, one of the things that the benefit of the Vegetarian Society, if you become a member, is you get the newsletter. I think it's sent out quarterly, and I just read the one that was sent out on Friday. And I was really touched with the story, the feature story. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but it's a couple from Florida. And I don't remember what part of Florida. Oh, it's on the East Coast above West Palm Beach. I don't remember the town, but the lady had breast cancer, and she had 3 children, and she was 37 years of age. And the medical system wanted her to do traditional therapy, radiation, chemo, and all this stuff, and surgery. And she stumbled across the Vegetarian Society website and started watching the videos. And this was years ago. And we've had since 1990 the best speakers in the world come and speak in Oahu, and all those in Maui, and they're all filmed. She kept watching the videos and learning what she needed to do. Make a long story short, she completely was healed from breast cancer, and she now has Be Green with Amy YouTube channel, and her husband lost 100 pounds, and he got off all his medication. He had high blood pressure, he had diabetes, he had many problems. But they both became vegans, and they both came to Oahu recently, and I think it was Michael Clapper's talk that they attended, and they were on vacation, and they went to the Vegetarian Society and got to meet the Vegetarian Society that posted all these videos, and they got pictures, and they have a feature article in the Vegetarian Society. So it was encouraging to me to read that article, and there's always good stuff. There's always, things about Kauai too. We're featured every month in that newsletter. So that's something you get mailed electronically. Let's see, is there any other announcements I need to make?
The winner.
What's that? Oh, the winner. I was saving that for last. Because I'm the winner. And I told my wife, I said, this is going to win. And me and my wife helped put this together. It's baked sweet potato rounds with pecans. And it's sweet potatoes, pecans, thyme, red chili, garlic, olive oil, and sea salt. And I always like to have Vijay come up here, and maybe Moya or somebody can take a picture, because I don't know, I usually give this to someone else, but this is me giving the gift certificate. I think I can win the last time, right? That I can be here?
I did not know you did. And it wouldn't have mattered. It would not have mattered because I consider myself as friends with all of you, and I'm definitely close to a number of you, so I want to give everybody an advantage, but that makes it even. So he won fair and square. This was, there were other good dishes. I said, oh boy, I really like this, I really like that, I really like that. But this one had the virtue of being simple, delicious, and nutritious, and a surprise to my mouth. So that's why I won.
Thank you. That's the first time. So thank you, Vito. By the way, just so you know, we have tried every kind of potatoes, and these potatoes do not give my wife a food coma after eating it. Like those white potatoes and Idaho potatoes, all those potatoes, she'll eat them, and it's just the sugar, I guess, she'll just pass out on the couch. These potatoes are the Oriental red potatoes. You can get them at Safeway and Big Safe. And they're huge. I mean, they're the biggest potatoes I've ever seen. And they're the best, and they give you so much energy. Like, if you guys can get any potatoes, and that's a big thing that Benjamin was stressing is, for energy, and to, make sure that you don't have a crash and have to eat all the time, get into sweet potatoes. Well, these are the Oriental sweet potatoes that you can get at Safeway or at Big Safe, and they are the best. We can't get enough of them. And we put a little bit of pecans on it, and if you guys want the recipe, let me know. If you want the recipe for the rum cookies, let me know, because some people have asked for that. Okay, so this is just so you're not asleep, and to make sure you're not asleep. Where is the Vegetarian Society going to meet starting in January? Over there. Where's there?
Okay.
Coquet? No. Kapa'a. Where in Kapa'a?
Neighborhood Center.
You know what's amazing about that too? About 1/2 of the volunteers for the Vegetarian Society go to the Center for Spiritual Living. And guess where that is?
Right across the street.
Right across the street, so they have no excuse for missing it, because as soon as they get out of church, they can come right over to the neighborhood. Right across the street.
Thomas, did you give us a date for it?
It's January 6th. Oh, yeah, sorry if I didn't mention that, but it's January 6th, and it's at 1 o'clock. The reason it's at 1 o'clock is, and by the way, I forgot to mention, we recycle all the plates, all the silverware, just the plastic and the paper. We don't. And there's buckets over there. I forgot to mention that earlier. Sorry for some of you that haven't been here before. The cool thing about the Kapa'a Neighborhood Center, and it's a miracle that we can even get it at this point in time, because we just found out within the last 5 days that this place was not going to be, it's not going to work for us in January. And I just found that out from Amoroso. Okay, so I called up the neighborhood center, and they hadn't had anybody scheduled during the time we used to meet. And so that place is really hard to get on weekends. And part of the reason for that is that the new mayor has decided, before he took over, they decided they were going to retile it, which would be amazing, because that place is not, it needs some major work. They're going to retile the whole floor. And because of that, she decided not to book any more people. And then the new mayor came in, and there's just a delay in the tiling, and so there might be 1 month we won't be able to meet but she just didn't book anybody for like a year, which gave that time slot still open. And so we have it from 1 till whenever, you know, because till 5 o'clock, that's when Zumba comes in. So we have plenty of time. The Kabbalah Neighborhood Center is free, and we're excited to be able to have a place to go back to. And it's right on the ocean. It's a beautiful place. Without further ado, I want to have Amanda come up here, because this is actually why we're here. And by the way, I want to thank Robert for helping me find Amanda. There are some rare finds on this island, and there's some really good speakers, and we haven't had to spend all this money and get all these people come in. If you guys look at our YouTube channels, we have some really good speakers. And in fact, Oahu is looking. No, they're just average people, that have gifts, and they're really good speakers, and they have good presentations, and I know yours will be too.
Yes.
So the reason I'm saying this is that Oahu and Maui, they get speakers that come in and they spend thousands of dollars to have their airfare, their, lodging, and all this stuff, and they don't pay for Kauai at all. But we've been getting some great speakers, and if you don't believe me, get on YouTube. Some of our best presentations I've ever been to have been in the last 6 months that we filmed, and maybe because we're filming them, maybe that's why the speakers are, moving it up a notch. I don't know, but we've had some great speakers. One of them that you definitely want to watch is Michelle LeMay's. She exposes the myths of vegetarianism, and that was May. Okay, so today we are going to learn about renewing our natural love for food, and I need to expand this. So this is Amanda Smith, and it's because of Robert that I found out about her. And by the way, we need you to always help us find more speakers, because there are really good speakers on this island. And we don't always have to try to get them to come over from Oahu, which Oahu doesn't pay for them anyway. So she is going to talk about renewing our natural love for food, and I'll just give you a brief introduction. Providing functional, intuitive, and practical cooking education to children. And families. Okay. Using all local Hawaiian-sourced ingredients. Amanda's commitment to elimination of harmful eating habits such as excessive processed food, providing education, skills, and opportunity to create recipes from locally sourced ingredients. Amanda will be sharing a favorite recipe, the Menehune Chef Poi Smoothie.
Yes.
And she is the Menehune Chef. What does Menehune mean?
Menehune means little people.
Little people. That's what I thought, but somebody at John Pierre said that it doesn't mean that, but I don't know. I've always knew it meant little people. So that's what we got to reach if we're going to reach the next generation, right? It's the little people. Menehune Chef Poi Smoothie. She has an experience as a TV host, a chef, a food writer, and her vision for the future generation of the Kiki, that's the children, and families. She will be discussing the importance of mindful eating and why local ingredients are beneficial for your health and how food has saved her life. Come and join Amanda Smith as she shares the benefits of eating sustainable farmers market finds in everyday recipes. Her Menehune Chef program for kids and families, and a fun take-home vegan recipe you can enjoy any time of day. And by the way, if you want the recipe and you're not on our email list, you need to see me after, and she's going to email it to me, and then I'll email it to you. The entire email list plus anybody else that's not on the email list. She started her journey in education 13 years ago, majoring in early childhood education. She has over a decade of experience working for 3 different nonprofit organizations and educating the Kauai community on current health curriculum. Life skills, positive action, mother-daughter circles, and youth camps. Amanda is passionate about increasing community awareness about nutrition and health. She currently is spreading her vision of healthy cooking to all the Hawaiian Islands through television, community events, and partnering with other local nonprofits, and local chefs. Menehune Chef believes in building a thriving community by positively educating children and families to make and create wiser food choices by using locally grown ingredients. And by the way, you have a YouTube channel too, right?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so go ahead and put that mic on, and I will adjust the sound a little bit for you.
So Menehune Chef Grow, Cook, Eat, Enjoy is the concept of my nonprofit. serving the community. So renewing our natural love for food, providing functional, intuitive, and practical cooking education to children and families using all locally sourced Hawaiian ingredients. The concept came about when here we go. It's just a repeat of what I've done in my journey through University of Hawaii. Up there is my first TV show that I did. We went to Kukui'ula Farm. They were nice enough to let us have the chef. Thank you. The chef and the farmer kind of get involved. And the concept with the show was to be able to show what sustainability looked like here in Hawaii. And even though we didn't have accessibility to the farm, they were nice enough to share the food and the culture with us. That was aired, I'd say, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a few months ago. And it was super successful. We loved it, and I wanted to keep rolling into the whole concept. So right now I'm in the middle of funding. I'm writing a grant through HYSN, Hawaii Community Foundation, and I have a lot of backing, so we're looking to pay actually the videographer and to get it more education for kids on local TV stations. So that's the concept. I'm also Mrs. Kauai 2016. That was my very first pageant. I'm there with Mrs. Hawaii. She's my best friend. Ended up getting first runner-up a couple times. It was such a rewarding experience, but to be able to talk about Menehune Chef was my main purpose and goal with that. Those are more pageant pictures and more chefing stuff that I've done. I've done a lot of photography with a lot of fashion stuff. I'm now getting into acting, which is kind of cool. I now have an agent, ADR. It's been really nice to let me have, or book me at least some commercials and to get out there and talk about Menehune Chef. Sustainable food at a global level. But before I talk about this, I want to shoot over to the video. I want to show you guys what it is that I'm doing in the schools, or what I've been doing. So we shot this video actually at Kailua Elementary School, which was really cool after school. We had some teachers get involved. These are the teachers I've taught for after school.
When I was a kid, I ate junk food, and it was important to me to be able to reverse that role and to give kids the opportunity to eat healthier. At age 11, I developed depression from my poor eating habits. At age 19, I had a tumor in my ovary, so I developed recipes. I started cooking for myself and changed my health, and I wanted to be able to share it with kids. Cooking is art in motion. It feeds every part of your body, and plus it's beautiful. As a community, we're really blessed to have a lot of healthy food in abundance. Why not get creative and create beautiful food? Menehune Chef, we are a non-profit teaching after-school programs to help kids grow, cook, eat, and enjoy sustainable foods on our island. Basically what we do is we go into the classrooms and we teach them how to cook. They come in and there are kits sitting on their table. Each kit contains the recipe and everything they need. They form up in teams and we do a team challenge. The chefs get to help them prepare the meals if they have questions and help them prep the food and help them get the recipe completed. Because staying local is so important to our community, we've chosen to use 50% of sustainable foods around Hawaii. I want kids to feel inspired to cook healthy food that also tastes really good. To get involved or donate, visit our website at menehunechef.com.
Why sustainable food on a global level? So I want to talk about more what's going on globally. So I always say sustainable food, and I love it because it'll help end poverty and hunger. Here's a quick fact. The world produces enough food to feed over 7 billion people living today. And then yet we see people who are homeless and starving, and people around the world who don't have food like we do. So it shocks me to know that 7 billion people, we can feed all those people, but we're not doing it. So, what are some ways? And so this is at a global level, better standards of education and healthcare for everybody. if you think about it. We all know that. If we eat healthy, we have all the literature here. If we eat a vegetarian diet, we know that we'll get better. And why? What are the reasons why? We know, because there's a lot of nutrients, right? We are getting the correct type of nutrients from each vegetable and plant that we eat. And if it's locally grown, it creates communities, sustainable economic growth, while promoting jobs and stronger economies. Okay, so that we do know. All the above and more are tackling the effects of climate change. So there's a huge talk about climate change too. I mean, these are just at a global level, environmental factors that happen that can harm and do harms to other people's health and livelihoods. Okay, so sustainability includes health of the land and the air and the sea. And I want to talk about box stores like Costco, for example. Yes, we can get vegetables there if we don't have anything growing, right? But what happens is, I talk about this actually in my lectures with the kids. After I'm writing a curriculum actually for each grade level, but the box stores is kind of the main thing. We talk about the truck being how much pollution do we produce, how much our carbon footprint here in Kauai. I mean, if you think about all the big box stores, we only have one, and then Kmart just shut down, but we also have like Walmart now that has food, right? We have all these bags and boxes. We're just tossing them into our landfill. And this is a big subject, but we do talk about it with the kids. They have activities that we talk about, and they have to kind of pin the tail in a donkey type of thing, but it helps them to understand our bigger box stores and how much our carbon footprint really is. Traditional Hawaiian food. I love talking about food. It's my favorite part. So poi is one of my favorite ones. These are just vegetarian options. I just put this here so everybody can kind of understand what sustainable really is and where you can find this at the farmer's market. So pineapple, little koi, breadfruit. We had that tonight, which was beautifully done, by the way, whoever made that. Kalolo, hapia, coconut, taro. So taro is also derived from poi, but taro can be made in different ways. It's the sweet potato. Have you guys ever had acai bowls? Right, there's Aina Juice Bar in Luhui. She uses a lot of those sustainable ingredients. I absolutely love it. And then there's one in Poipu as well. So let's talk about the future of cooking, and it starts with our next generation. This is why I created Menehune Chef, because I wanted the next generation of kids and parents to really teach cooking. That's what it comes down to. I never had it. I mean, I'm a chef now, and I didn't have a role model. I didn't have a mom to teach me anything, and I mean, let alone even have a functioning family. So I've always noticed with my own children, I'm changing the dynamic of that. I want them to learn how to cook. How do you do that, right? So parents are scared. They're like, we don't have enough time, we don't have this. And it's like, you do have time. You have time to cook in your kitchen and tell your kids to go watch TV, but you don't want to bring them in the kitchen. So what are some ways that we could do that? So we talk about that, especially with parents in their classrooms. So cooking together provides quality family time, right? We always say we don't have time. We work 2 or 3 jobs here on Kauai. But cooking time is bonding time, but for the parent and the child, okay? Whether it be a facilitator or an educator, it could be an outlet for your parents or, more community people getting involved, okay? It allows kids to relax and share what's going on in their lives. Communication opens up. So just being more open up with your parent, because food brings people together, and that's why I've kind of put that up there. Preparing food helps kids appreciate. Let's think about that for a minute. Appreciate. What does that even mean, right? So for me, it means that I'm going to appreciate the food that I've picked up from the farmer's market and how much it costs, right? And what type of ingredients I have, right? Appreciating the land, where it came from, okay? It might seem sometimes that kids think meals come out of nowhere. That's so true. They're like, it came from the sky. We don't know where it comes from. So what are we teaching our kids, right? So it's important to educate them. You're like, okay, where did this come from? Or what is that? You'd be surprised how many kids, when I come in with poi, have never had poi, and they live here in Hawaii. Yeah, it's to me it's alarming, and now poi is being. I think there was one school, I think it was either in Luhui or somewhere, that started serving poi on their plates. Amazing. So we're coming around. Things are starting to come around with sustainability, and I love it. So teaching a child how to cook helps them understand how much time and effort it takes, not to just be a parent, but to make them healthy. Okay, so tasty meals. There's more appreciation for that. Okay, their taste buds are just developing a little bit better and they're stronger than ours. Okay, cooking expands their palates, and we just talked about strong palates. When a child cooks new food or a dish that and this is a testimony from a child, when they cook a new dish, right, they're able to want to try it. And here's an example. I brought avocados to make guacamole, and they get to make their own guacamole. And I had one kid say, I hate guacamole. I'm like, all right, well, how about this? We're going to make it anyways, and you tell me what you think. You're going to taste test it. The kid made it himself. He was so proud. Everything was just meticulously done on his end, because they make their own. And at the end, he grabbed a chip, he took a bite, and he said, this is good. But that, God, it was like, I almost started crying, because it was just, kids, they don't appreciate it. They don't understand it. And it's not their fault. They just know they don't like it, because maybe they had it on its own, and they weren't creative with it. And so giving the kids the opportunity to be able to cook with, with their own palate or their different ways of cooking, with all the ingredients on the table, they can pick and choose what they want and what they'll try. Okay, so making a meal boosts confidence. We just talked about that. Boosting that kid's confidence to want to try something new, that's a big deal. Okay? All right, mindful eating. I wanted to talk about this because it's huge and not a lot of people talk about it. So 6 ways to practice mindful eating. So I'm going to go through the 6 ways and we're going to talk more about what it actually is, okay? So practice mindful eating is letting your body catch up to your brain. How many of you guys said, I'm starving, and you just ate? How many? I do it all the time. I'm like, I'm hungry again. I need more food, okay? But we have to give time after we eat, about a half hour before we actually feel good, like we're full, okay? Not just that, but we could be craving water. Hydration is important, okay? So mindful eating is slowing down to appreciate your food on your plate. And so these are kind of the different things that we teach the kids too in the classrooms, okay? Knowing your body's personal hunger, which we just talked about, okay? So letting your brain catch up to your body and vice versa. Developing healthy eating environments. Setting up the table really nice, right? Making it where, wow, I feel I can appreciate this. I pick some flowers from my yard, or I have some dill I want to put on on the side. Decorate your plate, make it really nice. It makes the experience a lot better. Eat food, not stories. How many of you guys have heard of that? Yeah? So television, you can kind of see it. Don't eat with the TV on. You see it on the corner? Yeah, absolutely. What does that do? It distracts you from your actual meal. I always think of eating as being more of a meditative way of appreciation in life and being grateful for what we have. Okay? Considering the life cycle for food, how it's grown, talk about it, appreciate it, right? Those are the stories we should be really attaching to. How does that carrot grow from a seed, from the top to the ground? Okay? And attend to your plate. So really take time to eat. You ever seen people eat so fast and then they leave, they're standing and eating and they're just jittery? What happens to your adrenal glands? Yeah, we don't want that to happen, right? We all know. Okay, so we're going to raise our cortisol level and stress our own bodies out. But if we were to sit down and just attend to the plate and take every bite slowly, okay, and then that way you'll understand, wow, I really got to make sure I've got to take my time, okay, with my eating. It also calms the body down and to be connected with yourself. So mindful eating, I love this picture. It's really cute. The plate, it tells you how much veggies you need, your grains and your beans, and protein can be tofu, whatever. I'm not opposed to whatever they want to put on their plate. So sitting at the table, that's step 1, right? So setting up the table, putting down your fork, just really savoring the moment and that time. And you'll come to find that all of these things, everything that's listed on this little picture here, takes the same amount of time as it would take if you're rushing. Okay? So it's a form of meditation. Mindful eating is slowing down and smelling the food. That's my favorite saying. Okay? So taking time to appreciate how food saved me and how it could save you. Okay? Mindful eating is one of them. My overall health, I'll talk about my overall health and we'll talk about health in general. So my overall health, I'm allergic to a lot of things. I don't really talk about it. So dairy being one, I cannot have dairy. Alcohol, I can't have alcohol. I don't have the enzyme. There's a lot of people who don't have it who are in the Asian descent. I don't break down alcohol very well, so I can't have a glass of wine. I'm pretty happy anyways. I don't need more alcohol in my system. There were other things too, reproductive health, inflammation, bloating. I had a miscarriage in my marriage. I was married for 10 years. I'm divorced now. But I had a lot of doctor visits. I couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I had all these allergies. I was puffy. I finally went to go see a naturopath. And he's like, look, you have all these allergies and you just need to take it easy. And he said, why don't you try a vegetarian diet? I was 18 years old. And I told him, well, what does that even mean? Right? Because I'm so used to my boxed foods, my canned foods, anything I can find that had a bunch of sodium and all kinds of bad ingredients. Okay? I moved here when I was 18 years old, right when I discovered all these allergies I had. And Hawaii was the first connection to being able to connect to farmers markets, finding recipes. I started to teach myself how to cook and not open canned food. Again, I had all these health issues. So local options was the only way to go. So farmers markets, there are local grocery stores, Siokas, they carry local foods as well. So I was able to connect with that. Eating more vegetables, whole foods. It's important, not just for me, but for you to eat more whole foods. Just like we did today, which was amazing. You guys did a good job in every single dish. I was trying to devour everything as fast, because I was in a hurry, but I wanted to sit down and practice my mindful eating and do all that, but I couldn't. I was so excited. But anyway, so practicing more of adding more veggies, and I can go back a little bit too. Look at that plate. So we want like half the amount, right? That half of that plate should be vegetables. And I love to use my local foods on that corner. Even if it's just half of the plate, at least we're doing something. We're creating a better carbon footprint. So healthy. I was inspired by a Healthy Hut. Have you guys ever eaten there before?
Yes.
My friend Holland, she's a super sweet woman. She was my neighbor for a really long time. She opened that place. And I'll never forget how she spelt it. Healthy, heal. When you eat healthy, you heal. You heal your body, right? So that's why it's important to eat the vegetables. It's to eat vegan. It's to eat vegetarian, right? Because you want to heal the body. Our bodies are magnificent, okay? They naturally heal themselves. If you allow the time that it takes to get rid of the meat, get rid of the things that are making you sick, and stick to vegetables in a healthy diet, you're able to heal your own body. Sustainable foods. So how easy is it? And how much time does it take? And how much money, right? So I researched canned foods or frozen food because that's what I was addicted to as well. It was easy, it was fast, I was in college, I needed it, right? So canned foods or frozen raw food on average costs about $400 to $1,000 per year. Okay, so it's pretty cheap. I mean, if you think about just yourself, I mean, you can make it a lot cheaper too. These are just average costs for within the United States. But at farmers markets, well, how much do you guys spend? I want to ask you guys. Have you been to a farmers market? How much do you spend? You guys can kind of yell it out. Do you guys know?
No, $40.
40 bucks. 20 bucks, yeah. And you can kind of stretch it out too. You can make, how many meals with that? I'd say like a big pot, right? Get a crock pot, right? With all the vegetarian ingredients. You're going to have meals throughout the week, right? And you end up saving a lot more money versus those canned foods. And your health, right? You're going to heal the body. All right, so what can we do about education in the next generation? Everything we talked about. So educating our kikis and families about farmers market, whole foods, and how to cook it. That's the most important thing, how to cook it. Not all the kids, I mean, not even parents, nobody. I've asked everybody, I'm like, so how do we cook with all these vegetables? I'll put it on the table and they're like, I don't know. Aren't you supposed to tell us? I always laugh and I'm like, oh my goodness, let's get creative. Let's all come together and come up with the best recipe like you guys do here, which is amazing. I love that. Because now we have the capability of Pinterest, right? Don't lie, you guys know what Pinterest is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. There's Pinterest, there's all kinds of great websites. Menehune Chef is working more on, I'm doing a lot of writing right now, so I'm in hermit mode, trying to make sure that I get everything right and then turn it into somebody who can fix my grammar, because I'm not very good at grammar. But I'm a great speaker, and I'm a great writer. And I love TV. So community, families, aunties, we can talk about education or caking families, through farmers market, cooking it. Community is important because we have those aunties and uncles who have been cooking for centuries with Hawaiian food, and to be able to connect with those aunties and uncles, or kapunas, or chefs who have been here for years, those are the ones who are going to help us out, okay? Menehune Chef, so the program itself, the program design is really about creating something that's going to be great for every age level. Okay, it's not, I don't just go into a kindergarten class and be like, all right guys, we're working with hot stoves, and it doesn't work like that. So a lot of the stuff they're learning is through progress. Okay, so progressive learning and tactile type of stuff. Just like you see it in the video. They had cups, they were in groups, they're able to put stuff into the blender. We communicate what's going in the blender, they touch it, they smell it, they taste it, they're getting everything they need, right? And they're also cooking and they want to try it because they're excited. So what we need now is funding. Okay, so grants, which we're currently writing for 2019, community donations, chefs. We definitely need chefs to help out going in the community. And really it takes a village. It takes all of us to kind of go step by step. Even if you're just doing it in your own home with your own grandchildren or your children, that's a step in the right direction. So my favorite word is poi. It can change lives in Hawaii and the community. Why? It's sustainable and it's part of the island. It's super healthy. The kids want to learn more and more about how the systems work when we grow poi or taro. What are taro leaves? We look at the whole dynamic of the whole plant, okay? But that's just one section. I'm just excited about poi. I love poi. I'm going to make you guys a poi smoothie today, so it's a topic. So how can we all support? Okay, so we can donate support at menehunechef.org. Or you can mail check or whatever. It doesn't have to be check or a letter saying good luck. It doesn't matter. Okay. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow us and get the word out about Menehune Chef. You can watch our up and coming show. I'm getting grants and funding for our TV show that's going to be coming up, and I'm going to be working with Robert, which is cool. So January 2019, we're going to start up again. So here's my poi smoothie. Here's the recipe. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have Thomas is going to take it and he's going to send that to you guys. So it'll just go, I wanted to save paper. I hate leaving a bunch of paper everywhere and it gets wasted. So I think email's the best for me. And if you guys always want it, you put it in a book or whatever, it works out. So today I'm going to make a Menehune Chef poi smoothie. I've created this recipe to help kids understand. So I'd say like maybe 90% of this is local sustained ingredients. Okay, and I have it with us today. I have the local bananas, the berries. It's hard because we don't have berries here unless you go to Kokee, right, and pick them. And we don't have enough to give. So I always use the mixed frozen berries from the store. We have our local poi, and then we have our local spinach today. I do have almond milk and coconut milk. Actually, I brought mac nut milk. Are you guys allergic to mac nuts? I need to ask you guys. No? Everybody's good? Okay, good. Local Hawaiian honey I do have. I have Kauai honey. And then I brought ice. Sound good? You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Yes, please. All right, so I love the Vitamix. This is what we use in all of our classrooms. We have one right now. I'm going to be buying one for each school, so that way they have accessibility to, blending any type of sauces that they want to make, especially the high schoolers. We have hot plates and all kinds of stuff that's already stored and ready to go. All right, so first ingredient, let's pull this back up. So everybody got my number, right? And the website is menehunechef.org, just so you guys know. All right, so first ingredient, we have the local bananas. How was the local banana? Did you like it? He had a local banana earlier. Yeah, so so the kids always get gloves, and I have huge boxes of them. I'm getting kid sizes too, and you see in the video those gloves were so huge on them, but it was so fun to use. We loved it. So I always make them wear their gloves, so I'm going to pretend I'm the kid, right? And you guys can come up and help me if you'd like to, if you want to help pour. And that's kind of what I do with my kids. I let them pour the ingredients, they select their ingredients, and then they all share and help each other. My aprons. I'll put it up, I'll let you guys see. So these are the aprons. Somebody was super nice enough to donate and find this whole stitchery. And then our aprons are all going to look like this. So we just do our basic apron for high schoolers and also our little kids. I'll let you guys see. And then we're gonna sell them on our website too, which is gonna be pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna start with our local banana. Okay, so I usually have them peel it themselves, or we cut it for the kindergartners, of course. We make sure that they're, stick that in there. And then we have next our frozen mixed berries. You guys, I brought some dragon fruit. Yes! Get excited, right? I found it at the grocery store and I was so excited. I was like, we're adding that today in our smoothie. I found it at Safeway in Wailua or Kapaa.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I found it and I was like, there's no way this is here right now. So
In the frozen?
it was in the frozen section by the vegetables on the right-hand side, yeah. So when I was picking up the berries, I was like, I'm gonna put these in there. So I'm gonna add this in there today. It's a little special treat for us to have. And then I'll make plenty for all of us. So that way we have. So I'm just gonna make a huge batch if you guys don't mind. So I'm gonna add a couple of everything. Does that sound good? So everybody gets some right away.
This will be our holiday drink. Dragon fruit, boy.
Yes, you're gonna have it all right now. So I'm gonna make 2 batches. This should be enough, but I have plenty of cups. And so I have 2 of these as well. So I'm gonna put the mixed berries in there as well. There's some more bananas in there. We have our local spinach. We'll just go through that. I'll put usually a handful I'll stick in there. That's about right. You guys, we have to put our poi in. So I love Hanalei poi. There's 2 companies I love, but Hanalei poi is the best one. They really are. They're great, and they're willing to sponsor me too. So which is good. And so we'll use them in all the schools. They're really, really sweet. And actually, I would love to, when we do our video, I'd love to come up there. I've spoke to the owners about coming up and talking about their farm. So coconut milk. Okay, since we're making a big batch, I'll use half the can. You guys love coconut milk? I love coconut milk. I can just drink it out of the can. You probably shouldn't, it'd make your tummy hurt, but. And then Costco, I know box stores, right? But Costco has these milkademia. It's macadamia milk. You guys ever had it? It's so good. It's creamy. You've never had this? It comes.
We make our own, but we never saw it.
Yeah, that's great. You can make your own, but for this instance, we have our milkademia, and this is one of my favorite brands. I'll just use that. Instead of a replacement of almond milk, I'll use this here today. Okay, and then we have our poi. Just gonna use our spoon to kind of scoop this out. Again, you can double the recipe. This makes enough for, I think, 6 servings, like big servings. I call them big servings, but for the kids, they get little tiny cups. And then we make like 3 or 4 different batches. Okay, so I'll use like a 1/4 cup, but in this instance, I'll probably use more of a half. I love poi. Do you guys eat it out? You guys ever had this on its own?
No.
What? You're trying it today. Yeah. I don't like it. You're gonna try it. Everybody's You know what they do? They drizzle a little honey on top, and it makes the best. It tastes like a sweet potato. But because it's sour, you know, not a lot of people like it. Have you guys ever had lomi salmon? No? Yes? You eat it with the poi, right? The local stuff. All right, so here's my honey. My local honey. So Kauai Island honey is one of my favorite ones. It comes in this dispenser. It's pretty awesome. And they're right out of Kauai, which is great. So it's a tablespoon, but I'm gonna do, since we have enough for 2 batches, I'll do 2.5, okay, to make it sweet. Of course, you don't have to use ice. I do because sometimes my stuff melts before I can even get to it. So you can just do a little bit of ice. It doesn't need a lot. You can see it's just a 1/4 cup, but I'm putting a little bit more in, so we have that. And I think we got all of it. You guys ready to blend? So the most exciting part for the kids is they want to blend it themselves. They're like, I want to do it. So you teach them how to use the Vitamix, right? I always unplug it. I'm like, step 1, plug it in, right? And they get excited about it. This is more of a variable one. The newer ones are like you turn it on and it does all kinds of fancy stuff. But the variable is my favorite because the kids get to learn how to turn it up higher or lower. And then they have the on off button here. Everything's in the front. That's my favorite. So I always make sure I say, okay, we want to keep it on variable, not on high, because that thing will just shoot right up. So I tell them, check and make sure it's variable. And when you turn it on, it's at the lowest setting. So I'll start like this. You guys are going to have a beautiful smoothie. Is that not tie it? And somebody always wants to do this, right? It's cracking up. more. Who wants to try it first? Anybody brave enough to try it? And of course, I have to always taste it before you come over here.
I'm brave.
It's good. You're brave. And it always comes out really good. It's kind of foolproof.
Beautiful color.
Thank you. Thank you for trying it. You tell us what you think, okay? Since you're the brave one. Here we go. Here's another one.
It's delicious.
And it's super healthy. It has all the right vitamins. It's a vegan smoothie.
Thank you.
Here you go. And I promise you I'm going to make a bunch more. Absolutely. Are you going to be my judge now? I love it. There we go. Try not to get it on the carpet.
Since I have this cup.
Yep. You got to recycle the cups, right?
Exactly, thank you.
You're welcome. Whoops. Promise I'm going to clean this up.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Woo-hoo. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so here's a little bit more. I'm going to make more, I promise. I have plenty of stuff here. Here you go. Try it. You're welcome. So I'm going to make some more just real quick, and you guys can pop in. Do you guys have any questions about Menehune Chef?
That's just what I brought the mic up for.
Oh, good.
So I want to thank you so much. It's just been an inspiration to hear your journey and
Absolutely.
to see what you're doing with the kids, because that's the future of our society as far as the health crisis is. You know, we can't always reach the adults, but we can definitely reach the kids, and sometimes we can reach the adults through the kids.
Right.
So anybody have any questions for Amanda? If you just raise your hand, I have the mic.
Yay, Ingrid.
Awesome. I have a question about market.
Farmer's market, sure.
Do you trust them 100% what they sell is organic?
That's a good question. I don't like to go into the political pieces of it. And yes, there are some things that are not okay because we have those big box stores and it's just easier not to really grow it. But I don't want to say you can or can't trust. I think you just have to know your farmer. And that's what it comes down to. So get to know your farmer, and that's the number one key thing. So I'm a chatterbox. I ask a lot of questions when I go up to the farmer. I say, where's this from? Where do you grow it? You know, those are the types of questions we can ask. And, you know, if they're like, well, at my house, and then you can ask more questions. What do you use? What kind of soil do you use? You know? And so that's kind of just, the number one thing is just to get to know your farmer and make sure they're actually growing. If they're not, then you can kind of skip the table. You know what I mean? Without being too political with them. But that's what I do anyways. I don't know. Has anybody else experienced that? That's a great question.
By the way, on that same topic, if you go to the May 2018 talk with the exposing the myths of vegetarianism or veganism by Michelle LeMay, she has a really good PowerPoint slide you can see, and I have it on my computer. It's a printout of all the farmers markets on the island and the days that they're on, and what days, you know, there's basically one every day of the week here.
There is, yeah.
And there's also a list of all the vegetarian-friendly restaurants. They're not necessarily all vegetarian, but she found like some 65 restaurants in the island that have vegetarian options.
Sorry, I'm gonna get this.
I think I finally found a way to eat pork. I didn't even taste it.
Smoothie based.
It was delicious.
All right. This here.
Does anybody else have any questions for Amanda?
Got your glass. You're so smart. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whoop, I didn't want it to spill. Whoop. You're so welcome. Great talking. Yeah, thank you. There you go. Sorry, we're making a mess here. You guys can lick the table. You're so welcome.
So tell us about your children. Do they help you?
Absolutely. This is one of they helped me create this. So the poi smoothie was pretty much their idea. I just actually All the fruits were their idea, but mine was the poi. Because I was like, what if we add coconut to the poi? What's going to happen, right? So I start thinking scientifically and then what is it like to put honey in it, right, to make it sweeter? So they helped me actually create this whole recipe, and our messes were like this, but worse. So.
Do they help you when you go into the schools too?
Absolutely. My daughter helps me pass out everything. She's a part of it. She's like, Mom, I want to be a chef. So,
Wow.
yeah,
It's
it's
impacting on your children.
yeah, absolutely. And they've had an impact on me in my
Do they
home.
help you make food at home too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% all the time. It's mostly my daughter. My son is just like, Mom, I don't want to do it today.
Yeah.
He's kind of off doing his boy thing.
Do you have 2 children?
I have 2 children. I have a boy who is 5 and then a little girl who's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the secret. You know, you basically model what your children, what you like them to become, and you know she's doing that, and her kids are catching the health inspiration from their mom, and I'm sure they're going to grow up and have healthy children. So it starts in the home, and all your kids are imagine healthy too. They
Absolutely.
probably never get sick. You know, there's always a flu bug going around.
There's always something. They're resilient though. They do get sick, but not as much anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes down to health and eating, you just have to make it fun. And the way to do it is just get creative. And so I'm actually writing a cookbook now. That's what all the writing is all about, and blogging. The cookbook is going to teach not just you as a person how to cook with your kids, but also how to set up a scenario for kids in the kitchen, and so that we always have like a cupboard for them, and then you can always have the things and the tools that they need, and all the recipes. So anything from simple smoothies to breakfast items, all that kind of stuff. So right now I'm working on it.
How old are your children?
So 5 and 10.
5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So you start. How long ago did you start?
My son was 3.
3.
And my daughter was 5.
Wow.
They're 3.5 years apart.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of parents, they just dread cooking because their kids aren't helping them. You know, and I'm thinking, if you got your kids helping you, you could eventually work yourself out of a job. And you know, a lot of people don't believe this, but years ago, some of you might remember Little House on the Prairie.
I love that
And you
show.
always thought, wow, I wish we could live like that. Well, I actually got to live like that for a whole week. And this was in Libby, Montana. And you can still go there today. It's an Amish community. And they homesteaded there about 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And Lloyd Miller was the bishop. And me and my friend, we stayed in the community for an entire week. They let us stay in the chapel, log chapel. And the last weekend we were there, we went to their church. And they invited us over for dinner, or after church lunch, and he had like 9 kids. And the parents were just sitting there supervising. And the kids were doing even the littlest ones. They were, you know, every child was doing something, and they all knew what they were supposed to be doing. And it wasn't even like it was work for them. It's just like they were trained that way. And the parents, I thought, man, you guys have it easy. They're just sitting there watching their kids do everything. And it's so different than the kids today. They have this entitlement mentality that, you know, we're supposed to do everything for them. In reality, our best little helpers are our children. You know, if we can inspire them, and I'm excited that you're passing the torch on to your children.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I hope to pass it on to your grandchildren and children as well.
Yeah, so this has been very inspiring to me because of the fact that, you know, this is our future. And you know, we look at how sick a lot of the Hawaiians are and the locals, and really it's families, generations that have been eating the standard American diet for, you know, last 3 or 4 generations.
Right.
And it's like they don't even know what to eat anymore. They just, you know, they eat Spam and all this stuff, and they're very healthy, but the reality is, if we can reach the next generation, we can reverse that.
That's right.
You know? And so that's the key, and I'm glad that somebody's doing that. I didn't even know that was happening on the island, so
Right.
it's been exciting to hear what you're doing, and I just wish you the best
Thank you.
for what, you know, your endeavors are. And it's exciting because, you know, this is also a really good lesson I learned just listening to you. She didn't grow up this way.
No.
So we have no excuse, you know. She had a lot of health problems, and, you know, she didn't even know what she was doing, but she had a desire to make a change. And, you know, that's a plug for our volunteers. We don't have to even know what we're doing, but we just want to help make this island and this community a little better place to live in, and a little healthier place, and get involved somehow, you know. And before you know it, you find out what your gifts are, and you can help spread the good news of being healthier. So
Right.
thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming. I want to just leave you with my last little words of if there's any wisdom that I've had, that I've gained over the years. And it's happened, even tonight because, I'm not going to be up here leading out and, introducing the speakers anymore. And I will miss the vegetarian side. I've been very involved in it since Oahu days, because I used to work 2 weeks a month or 3 weeks a month in Oahu and work over here, and I still lived over here, so I went back and forth. So I would actually go to 2 Vegetarian Society meetings a month a lot of times. I'd go to the Oahu one, and I'd come back over here, and I'd time my trips so I could go to both. And so I know a lot of the Oahu folks from years ago, and one thing that I've learned is every time I go, and even though I think, I know it all, I don't need to go there. And a lot of people, they think, that they're vegetarians or vegans already. But how many know the greatest room in the world, according to Ben Franklin, is the room to grow? That's the largest room in the world. It's the room for growth. And this message, as well as John Pierre, really catapulted me into wanting to be healthier. Every speaker has something that we can pick up from. And the one thing I learned from Amanda tonight was that I'm just one of these utilitarian guys, and I'm thinking, I don't have really time to sit down and eat. So I just eat while I'm doing about 10 other things. And I'm even walking around while I'm eating. And I realized that this is not the way we're supposed to build a marriage or community. And I do this a lot, and I thought, I need to be sitting down at the table and making this a part of my life, and not just thinking, I always got to get something done. So I learned that from you tonight. So
Yes.
that was good.
Thank
But
you.
John Pierre really motivated me too in areas that I hadn't really thought of before, and helped me to make a step in some of these directions. In fact, he had a huge influence on me. But I want to encourage you, in your journey, this is the last bit of wisdom that I'll try to leave with you, that every one of us has 2 hands, okay? And one of the hands needs to be reaching outwards to someone that is going to challenge you to be healthier. And there's always someone, that we can watch or we can become friends with that will spur us on to try to be healthier than we are right now. Whether it's just watching some material on the internet or whatever, reading some books, there's always something that we can learn to help us become healthier and maybe even live another day longer. I don't know. But then there's also the other hand that we have. We can be reaching out to people that we can help influence, help them in their journey. So we have 2 hands and 2 arms, and if we're in mission, we're reaching out in both directions. We're reaching within to help us within the vegan community to grow, and then we're reaching without to people that maybe need some encouragement or hope and help from our own story. So that's why we have 2 arms, to reach in and reach out. So thank you for participating and coming, and some of you have been here a lot of times, and Amarosa has been a big part of why we're even meeting here, and also Loya, because they live here, and we hope you don't stop coming just because we go to Kapaa. It's not that far. It's actually 15 minutes away, and it's on a Sunday, and if you're going that direction, the traffic's not that bad. Yeah, so Sunday's not that bad in traffic, so I know everybody complains about Kapaa traffic. So with that, I just want to thank Amanda. Let's give her a big round of applause for coming and sharing. And also, thank you for any of you that can help clean up and get this place back in order. We're going to leave with a good note.